Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you how to fix your Cuisinart Grind and Brew single serve coffee maker. So it could be about 3 or 4 different things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the needles on the K-cup side with a paper clip. I'm also going to show you how to take the grinder apart. We're going to clean it. It comes with a brush. We're going to brush out that grinder. Then I'll discuss a few other things that might be preventing you from making a cup of coffee also. Okay, so a couple things about the lights. If all of the lights are flashing at you, that means it's time to descale. I'm going to do a separate video on how to put it in descale mode, and we're going to descale it with vinegar. If just the brew lights are flashing like they are now, it means that your lid is not closed. Once your lid closes, there's a micro switch that makes, and then those will be on steady. If these are still flashing, that means the coffee maker is overheated. You're supposed to unplug it for about 10 minutes and then plug it back in. So if you put a K-cup in, or if you use your reusable K-cup and you press a brew button and nothing happens or very little coffee comes out, it could be that your needles are clogged. So after you brew a K-cup, you really should take K-cups out relatively soon. Don't let them sit in there overnight, because those coffee grounds will eventually clog that top needle. Okay, so first of all, make sure your machine is unplugged, because that can be very hot and there can be hot water come out. Now, there's the top needle. We'll start with the top needle. Unfortunately, you cannot remove the top needle. You're going to need a standard paper clip, like a metal one though, preferably not the ones with the plastic on them. The needle's around the back side, so it's directly on the back side. You're going to go up and down right there. Now, don't force this. There is a plastic tube on the back side of this that connects there, and you don't want to poke a hole in that. So what I generally like to do is push it in there a little bit and kind of rotate it and get some of the, you might see coffee grounds kind of coming out of there a little bit. Just be very careful. Don't force it. Again, you can feel that tube in there a little bit. Just kind of rock it back and forth. That cleaned the top needle. Now you might have to do that several times, and we're going to do a freshwater rinse whenever we're done with the bottom needle. Okay, so let's switch gears now. Let's go to the bottom. We can remove the bottom needle. So there's a sharp needle down in there, but underneath there's not. So just poke up from the bottom. This whole brew basket will come out. There's the sharp needle right there. Okay, so with this brew basket, it comes apart, but it's a little different than you think. Normally you think you rotate it like counterclockwise, but you're going to rotate it clockwise. It's going to kind of snap, and then it comes apart. So this is a really good time. This will get a lot of junk down in there, and it's got these 4 pie shape. It's a good time to clean these 4 pie shape areas out with a brush. Take this over to the sink and just run a bunch of water through there and clean it out really good. Next, so there's our bottom needle. We're going to clean it from the bottom. We're going to go in the bottom with the paper clip, and it will go all the way through the needle. Now kind of rotate it. Take this, and while you're doing this, take it over to the sink and run a bunch of water through here. And this area too gets really dirty. So it's a good time just to kind of clean this whole area. When you're all done, you're going to kind of find where it, and then you kind of see it goes like that. There's these little ears that have to engage. Then you're going to rotate it to the left or counterclockwise till it snaps, okay? Give it a little tug, and now we're going to reinsert it. Okay, so find the arrow. There's the white arrow. There's a white arrow there. Line up those white arrows, and it should snap in. And now try to close it. Don't force it. It should snap really easy, okay? Okay, so let's do a freshwater rinse. You can just use regular water or whatever bottled water you're using. Just don't put a K-cup in here. Close the lid. And just select 8 ounces of brew. What that's going to do is that's just going to run some water through that needle and that needle basket area. I like to do freshwater rinses about once a week. It just kind of keeps that area nice and clean. Now again, if you don't get anything come out, just re-clean the top needle. It's usually the top needle that gives you the most fit. But you should get a nice steady stream out. Again, that water will be very hot, so be careful. And you might see some coffee grounds floating. That's normal. If you see coffee grounds in there floating around, that just means it's kind of clean in that area. You can see mine's kind of discolored, and I got some coffee grounds floating around in there. Okay, so you can see it's all done. There's a few coffee grounds floating around in there. Lift this up. Again, be careful. This area could be nice and hot. Okay, so you have an add water light. Let's say another problem could be that your add water light will not go out. If this add water light is on, it's not going to let you do any brewing. Even though you say you add water back here, the add water light's still on. I'm going to show you a trick. So here I've got the water reservoir. This is the water filter. But right here's the add water. There's like a little float that floats up and down in there. That may be stuck. Okay, so we're going to dump some water out. As the water goes down, you're going to see that little float kind of starts floating down. See how it goes down? So make sure that float is all the way to the top. That will turn the light out. But if it's stuck down here at the bottom, your light's going to be on and you won't be able to brew. Now, if that thing's really stuck, I'm not quite sure how you're going to get to it because that cap doesn't look like you can remove it. So you may just have to kind of soak it in really hot water to kind of free it up. Maybe dump some vinegar in here, let it sit overnight, and then the next day dump it out. Take your filter out when you do that. That might clean it up. There might be calcium that's kind of preventing it from moving. And see, we can see when the add water light's on, you can't do any brewing. Okay, so let's talk about the grinder now. So say you press the grinder button and nothing happens, and then the grind button starts flashing at you. That means the grinder's kind of overheating and there's something blocking it up. Now, unfortunately, you do have to kind of get these whole beans out of here. Otherwise, when you take this off right here, when you move that to unlock and lower that, all of those coffee beans will come down through there. Okay, so I've got kind of a bigger bowl. Let's see how it does. So say your grinder is stuck and you do have to do this. This is what it's going to look like. Open that up and then again. Okay, makes a big mess. Be prepared for a big mess. And it's all over the floor and the counter. So I didn't even have a big enough bowl. Okay, so here we have the grinder. Now, you can wash this out with soap and water. You have to really, really dry it when you're done. You don't want ground coffee to be in there when it's wet. But they do give you this brush, and it's kind of a good idea. You might have something lodged in here, but it's probably down in here. Now, you really can't disassemble this any farther. You can sort of turn this grinder. It's like practice turning this grinder right here until you get it all. You kind of tap it, and you'll get that coffee kind of freed down in there. And you should be able, okay, see, I can turn this now. Now it's freed up, and the machine should be able to turn it. So to reinsert it, we're going to line up the arrows. Find the arrows here. You may have to kind of turn it this way, but make it the arrow. So then you're going to turn it to the lock position, and it will snap. So how it snaps, that means that's in there for good. So I got most of these from the manual. Towards the back, it does have troubleshooting. So again, check out my next video. I'm going to show you how to descale. So if your coffee is not tasting as good, if it's not as hot, if your coffee maker's taking a long time to brew, those are all signs that it's time to descale. And also if all of these lights up here are flashing. You've got to put the machine into a descale mode. We're going to use vinegar. Really like this machine. It's made some very good cups of coffee. Thanks everybody for watching. If you could, please like and subscribe.